Welcome to the College Football Prediction Roundtable, presented here live on the Bleacher Report app, where we give you our predictions on the biggest games. As this week, Conference Championship Week. I am Jay from For Sports. We have Steven from Fanatic Perspective. Nino and Ty decided that they're too cool for school, so they decided to skip out on work. But it's okay. We're not going to blame them for pretending to be productive adults, even though we both know they got fired on their days off. Steven, how you doing today?
No, it's not okay, Jay. They should be here today. It's championship week. It's the most important week heading into the postseason. I mean, what more can you ask for as college football fans? Over the next 48 hours, we are going to have champions solidified, conference champions solidified, as well as playoff standing solidified, and Ty and Nino not being here, ducking the smoke. But we got it for them. Well, we're going to hold down the fort for today for them, Jay.
Yeah, we are. And we hope that you all in the chat are pulling up the ones that were doubting some of our picks. And honestly, the ones that y'all got right and compared to us. Don't run away from it. Go ahead and embrace it. Embrace that hate, especially if you think you're better than us. And in some situations, you weren't. But I digress. We're going to look at the standings real quick, see how we're going, and then we're going to ride right into these picks. And yes, I'm at the bottom of the barrel, so I need to get lucky. Again, Steven has been brutal. Oh, Steven, how'd you get down there? What are we doing? Did they cheat you too?
Mac and them let me down, bro.
That's what it is. Down, so they said the two at the bottom are the ones that got to go to work. The ones at the top can skip out on today. They have to skip their finals. That's what it was. They let them skip their final. They told us we got to take that to make sure we get enough points to even pass. Disrespectful, man. Disrespectful. Look, what happens when you go out on the ledge? But we got some fun games. We'll probably be here about 30 minutes or so. And we're going to jump right into this first battle of championship week, Steven. This is going to be great. It's going to be me and you, mano a mano. We're going to talk about UNLV Boise State. That's game tonight, 7 p.m. on Fox. Boise State is a 4-point favorite with a total of 57.5. I'm going to lead it off. I picked UNLV on the upset. I think there's an opportunity for something special to happen here, but I'll explain in a minute. Steven, who you got?
So you got UNLV walking in there in the rematch. This is a rematch, folks. The first game was in Vegas. This game is in the blue turf in Boise, Idaho. So you got them going on the road with everything on the line. Wow. That is wow. See, we're starting off with a bang because I got Boise State holding it down here. I got Ashton JT.
Yeah.
I got Ashton JT and them getting loose. And UNLV's run defense is actually really good, and they did a decent job containing him last time. I just think the development of their quarterback, Maddox Madsen, and him hitting those intermediate passes and over the middle and down the field, that they get a lot of man coverage down there. I think they'll just be able to take advantage. I like Hodge Williams and my boy Brennan Marion, but I don't know if it's enough, Jay. I don't think it's enough.
And that's kind of on the counterpoint. You know, you got Hodge Williams and Brennan, because initially Hodge wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback for this team. Their quarterback, kind of bounced. And as the season has progressed, we've watched Hodge get better and better. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think that he has improved himself enough. I mean, he led the team in rushing and passing in that game against Boise State. And like you said, UNLV has a really good rush defense. So it's going to be a challenge for them to stop Ashton Jeanty, who now needs to solidify himself as the Heisman dude. This is that game. This is his final moment. He lucked out that he got an extra opportunity to prove himself because Travis Hunter's not playing in the conference championship this week. So, all the shade he wants to throw, he can go out there and try to rush for 200 and throw some Heisman poses up. Maybe he gets it. I think Hodge Williams has a chance, though, to show that he has improved week over week over week throughout the entire season and go in there and try to get that upset. That's what I'm looking at it as. I also need the points. I'm tired of y'all beating me, man. It's been brutal. UNLV, throw your boy a bone. Brennan, give me that go-go. Keep Boise State off the field, even though go-go goes freaking fast.
Hey, Jay, regardless of outcome, Brennan Marion deserves head coaching opportunities this offseason, not just more OC opportunities. I think he's now proven himself beyond a shadow of a doubt. He is ready to have his own program. I'm really proud of that, brother. Ricky White as well, another dangerous weapon for UNLV. But I think Boise just holds up, man. If there was a time for them to go down, if it was a neutral site game, I'm going UNLV. But I don't see him losing at the crib, bro. I don't see him losing at the crib.
And that's a fair assessment there with the way that Boise State plays. But Ty and Nino both picked Boise State as well. So it's not a clean sweep. Come fade us, which I will have T-shirts for that next season. I'm working on that as we speak to rock. But for me, UNLV, as you said it great. Brennan Marion deserves a head coaching job. If they win this game, that's going to be delayed, and he may actually get a better job. If they do lose, I think he takes the job in Tulsa, but I digress. Let's move on to the next game. Let's move on to some fun ones. Iowa State, Arizona State. Big 12 championship, Dr. Pepper down in Texas. Arizona State's only a 1.5-point favorite, Stephen. And that concerned me initially, especially because that line has not moved. But I'm still riding with Arizona State. Who you got?
I like Iowa State here, Jay.
Oh!
Hey, let's go ahead and mix it up, man. Hey, look, I've been riding with my boy Scatterboo all year long. Right? Scatterboo. But Arizona State hasn't just been a one-man band. They've had Sam Levitt. And they've had a very impressive young receiver by the name of Jordan Tyson, who is not playing in this game. That is a big, big factor for me, Jay. That's why another reason why this point spread is so tight here. But let's talk about some receivers who are playing in this game and some guys that even may be considered potential snubs. Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Both guys are over 1,000 yards receiving this year. Jalen Noel is one of the best kick returners in the country. He's the only person on Iowa State on both, I believe, all Big 12 offense and defense that made first team. Nobody else on their team made first team offense or defense, all Big 12. Yet they're 10-2. They had a 2-game losing streak where they lost to Tech by 1 point, and then they lost on the road to Kansas, and we know the Jekyll and Hyde that Kansas has been all year. Other than that, they have been perfect. Rocco Beck has put on. Again, 2,000-yard guys. It's not the greatest John Heacock defense we've seen. Okay, and Scatterboo will get his, especially against a 3-man front. But I don't think this is going to be a game of ammunition, a firefight. I think Iowa State outscores Arizona State in Arlington and Jerry World.
Wow. So that's what's fascinating about it is because the way Kansas was able to beat Iowa State was running it, right? They just ran it down their throat the entire time. Now, it became a shootout, but they ran it. That's the one thing I can give to the way Iowa State has played is their 2 losses. I mean, the Texas Tech loss was a 1-pointer. That was a game-winning field goal that you kind of surprised, and then they lost by 9 to Kansas, whereas Arizona State's loss, 8-point loss to Tech at Tech, and then a 10-point loss at Cincinnati. So for me, though, Scatterboo's going to run down their throat, man. That's what it is. That's all he's got to do. If Scatterboo runs it down their throat, keep them dudes off their toes. This makes me feel like the Alabama game against Cincinnati in the playoffs. Cincinnati had 2 corners that were first-round picks, right? You got Sauce Gardner out there. I can't remember the other dude's name for the life of me, but you had 2 corners
Kobe
that were
Bryant.
legit. Other Kobe Bryant. So you got both these dudes out there. And what Nick Saban say? Oh, we ain't throwing the ball like idiots. We just gonna run down that 3-3-5's throat and did it. That's what I think Arizona State here can do with Scatterboo. It's gonna be a fun matchup. Everybody else is with me though. Ty and Nino picked Arizona State. Ooh, but this spread though, 1.5, like you said, because
Vegas is talking to y'all.
Hey, you ain't lying.
Hey,
Vegas,
and it's not the first time.
Even.
I'm sorry, but John Heacock and what he does,
yeah.
the genius of it. You don't think that they hear every week that people are going to run down their throats? That's all they ever hear. Look, it is hard to block guys at depth when you don't know where they're coming from. It's hard to block guys when you can't assume double teams. All my football heads, think about it. Look, yeah. I think Scatterboo gets his. I think this is going to be a game. But folks in the chat, and thank you to the chat people chiming in, some folks in here saying, hey, Arizona State, Steve's going to run the clock. They're going to dominate time possession, things of that sort. We shall see. But again, moving those chains, Jordan Tyson was a big, big factor in terms of having that balance off of Scatterboo in the throw game. We have to see what Arizona State looks like without his presence.
Yeah, that's going to be critical to see if any other wide receivers do step up in this one. This is going to be
good coaching matchup here too, Jay. Good coaching matchup between Coach Dillingham and Matt Campbell.
Yeah, it is. It is. Didn't we? We talked about this, I think, on the SEC Connect. We asked the question, did Matt Campbell miss his window for an opportunity for an upgraded job because, Iowa State was struggling. Now they back in the Big 12 championship game. Maybe he's like, nah, I'm going to stick around here and y'all going to keep paying me at this spot. I'm going to keep dominating here, kind of like the basketball program. Ain't going to be mad at that. If he continues to keep this up.
Hey, last comment. This is the reoccurring theme, by the way. Arizona State, of all these P4 championship games, all of them got newcomers versus an old comer. Trying to protect the old guard. Iowa State trying to protect the old guard.
So you picking the old guard to cover.
I'm going the old guard on this one. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go on to the next game. Next game we got up for bid. We've got Tulane versus Army, which is also tonight on ABC. You've got the Green Wave as a 5-point favorite, and this spread has been moving up, open at around 3.5 on most books. And Steven, I'm not gonna lie, man, this one was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. Even with Tulane being a favorite like this, I kind of struggled. So I picked Army. I just think that they're going to make it really hard for Tulane to have the ball. This is once again another game. They're just going to hold the ball as much as possible. And I think that could be a formula to win. What you thinking?
Jay, I'm on the same ride with you here. And we may look foolish on this one, but you know what? Go Army. Okay? These boys are playing at West Point tonight. It's going to be 7, 8 o'clock at night, West Point.
Yes.
It's going to be very, very cold. Okay. So these brothers from Tulane had too much turkey last week, ended up dropping a game to Memphis, and a game in which Memphis ran crazy on them. And Tulane has been susceptible to the run this season. And it was front and center against Memphis. Here's the interesting thing about this game. Both of these teams, I believe, are top 5 in time possession. They hold the rock. So this game's going to move very quickly. But look, there's some magic here, I think, tonight with Army. I know they have their Army-Navy game next week. And it's all these other things going on. But I'm just buying Army here, man. And I know Jay and Nino and Ty, I think, feel differently than us on this one.
Yes, Nino and Ty both went with Tulane in this game. So we are on the opposite sides of the other two who decide to skip work. Now we need them to lose so that we can make sure that they drop down in the standings. But no, you're right. Time of possession is critical in this game. And this game's going to go very fast in the aspect of the clock's not going to stop. That's just how it is. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of passes Daly actually puts in the air, or if they're able to, like you said, just run it down their throat, because Tulane is susceptible to that. So it's going to be interesting. Looks like Mensa, most likely him and Joe Craddock, could be auditioning for their new job, maybe at Michigan. They did just fire their OC, and words are out there. We're going to move on to the next big game. This is the fun one. This is the one of the week. Old guard versus new guard. Georgia, Texas. Texas walks into this game. This is what's fascinating to me, as a 2.5-point favorite. Opened up at about even, and Texas has been moving up. It's been bought up by the Sharps. What's more interesting is, to me, about them moving up as a favorite in this game, Stephen, is that it's in Athens. Well, not in Athens. It's in Atlanta. So it's in Athens. It's up the street around the corner. It's an hour and 15, 2-hour drive. We'll say 2 hours. I've made the drive before. It's 2 hours, quote unquote. Old guard versus new. So I had to throw a wrench out there, man. I'm going with Georgia. I really do not think Georgia's going to win this game. But I need them to win this game to help your boy out with his points. I need that desperately. I got to pick against you, Steven. We're family.
I know.
That's how it goes. But no, I wanted you to have the most time anyway to talk about why Texas.
So, yes, I'm picking Texas. It's hard to beat the same team twice. We've heard that narrative. And, and some of these games are rematches. We talked about UNLV, Boise State. Texas, this is essentially a road game. Now, Same thing I said last week with Texas A&M. I love Texas in road environments. I like Quinn Ewers in road environments. And there's questions with Texas. Kelvin Banks, will he, won't he play? We saw the young Trevor Gooseby step up big time against some really good pass rushing talent, and Nick Gordon and Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, all those guys. We got to do it again against Michael Williams and this crew from Georgia. Jalen Walker had an unbelievable game against Texas in Austin, but can Georgia match that level of intensity? We saw Georgia play at a level that they won the national championships with. That was the level they played at, right? When they were smoking people with Stetson Bennett and whatnot. In my opinion, we've only seen that level of Georgia once this year, and it was in Austin. They haven't tapped back into that since, and they didn't tap into that beforehand. So what version of Georgia is Texas facing? I think Texas has been the more consistent product. I think Texas has had the more consistent defense. And Trevor Etienne, he's listed as questionable on the SEC injury report. I don't think he's playing in this football game. Do you, Jay? So that was a guy who was a big factor in Austin running the football. Texas's run defense has done nothing but improve since then, especially the interior line play has been outstanding. I'm looking at Carson Beck. Can he have a better game? Because this goes both ways. Texas learned a lot from Georgia, and they cannot have the disastrous first half they had before. But Georgia's also going to learn from Texas too, right? So that's what makes this matchup so intriguing. I just think that Texas right now, with what they found in their run game and the consistency that they have on both sides of the ball, I think is a better product at this point than what Georgia has. And I don't know if Georgia can tap in to where they tapped into in Austin the last time. That's, big reasons why I'm leaning Texas here.
No, and it makes sense because Ty and Nino also roll with Texas as their pick. So I'm, of course, the outlier. And the thing that I see out of this is you make the best point you made there, Stephen, is Texas has done very well on the road. Texas versus Alabama last year, right? You saw that they lost at home to Bama. Then the next year they win on the road. And Texas has shown that they can do that in a lot of road environments. The big thing with Georgia is they're still playing at the crib. This is basically their second home. They're home away from home, up the street, around the corner. And they usually show up against anybody that ain't named Alabama. Well, I don't know if they can. I need the points, though. I'm not even going to lie. I need the points. This is the only game I knew that all of y'all wanted to
This chat here is interesting, Jay. This chat here is interesting
is the
because
one. Is the running back to keep your eyes on because of Trevor being out, and Nate Frazier has 587 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. So the question you asked about the run game could still be consistent, but we'll have to see. If
Nate Frazier's also had ball security issues. Nate Frazier has also had ball security issues. Here, guys. You guys are talking about how Kirby dominates that game. I agree. And Jay brought up Alabama. Look, but the last time they were in that game, they took a L, okay? When all the money was on the table last year and they knew they needed to win to make the playoffs, they took a L, okay? So I'm just saying they're not invincible in Mercedes-Benz. And the other person over here commenting, just because I'm saying Texas is going to win the game doesn't mean I think Georgia's trash, okay? I think this is going to be a very, very, very good heavyweight fight, Ali Frazier Part 2, right? Or Ali Frazier 3. I mean, we knew back in Austin, this game, these two teams will go multiple rounds. This is the second round. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and the question is, can Georgia get the second win, and then the potential third matchup is probably, if I'm going to be honest, I think the third matchup is when Texas probably beats Georgia. So, all right, next game we've got SMU Clemson for the ACC championship. Once again, the old guard versus the new guard. God, this is crazy how consistent this is with this conference realignment. Right now, SMU's walking in as a 2.5-point favorite as the spread has completely flipped around. Clemson opened up at roughly around 2 points. SMU is now the favorite. That one, my friends, is fascinating. I went ahead and picked SMU. I think that the Mustangs are going to go ahead and take the mantle away, one of the many ones this weekend, and say, yes, conference realignment worked perfectly because we snatched all y'all's chains. Stephen, who you got?
I'm going New Guard again, SMU. SMU, give me them stanks. Give me them stanks. Hey, I'm rolling with Dallas here, man. Look, Clemson, people talking about Clemson not losing. Why is Clemson getting the benefit of the doubt when they're not the better football team in this game? Can we be honest? They're not the better football team in this game. They have not been the better football team in the ACC. This is off of brand and name and Dabo and all this other stuff. So if we're watching ball this year, if you're watching Kevin Jennings, if you're watching Brashard Smith and all these South Dallas kids that SMU has recruited, okay, all across the board that are lighting it up, and this dynamic offense where Rhett Lashley's already gotten his contract extension. SMU, all they've been hearing is how, Clemson ain't going to lose back-to-back games. Either Miami or Clemson is going to take the ACC. Or once SMU loses, are they going to be in? You keep hearing that narrative over and over again, like we not 11-1. Like we haven't been the dominant team in this conference. It's very, very interesting. And I think SMU is going to have one of those performances where they come in and they're explosive and they make it to a point where, hey, Cade Klubnik and you guys are going to have to keep up in the track meet. And I think this game could potentially be a track meet. What do you say, Jay?
Yeah. So Ty and Nino. Ty picks SMU. Nino is our only Clemson selection on here. And I'm actually fascinated by his pick by Clemson because I think it's something about old guard trying to keep the new guard from coming in, which totally makes sense. But Steven, if you look at compared to opponents, right? SMU here, last 4 games, 10 plus points per game. Dominance. Clemson struggled against Pitt, win 24-20, 10-point win at Vatech, right? You didn't see all these blowouts here at the end of the season, and then they lose to South Carolina, which South Carolina's a really good team this year. Shout out to Beamer Ball.
We nailed that.
SMU feels like they're rolling, huh?
We nailed that pick, by the way.
Yeah, we really did. We tried to tell everybody. Nobody listened to us in the chat. I could have sworn the chat told us we was crazy. We won't go into that.
Yeah, y'all told us we were crazy. Game. All 4 of us picked South Carolina. How about that?
They went out there, beat them up. How about that? We'll take that. All right, last game. Steven, this is the second biggest game of the weekend. I still feel like Texas-Georgia is the biggest game. Penn State, Oregon. Old guard versus new guard. And even though with the old guard is a new member of the old guard because we ain't synced this team here ever. Like, I don't think I've been alive that they've actually played them. I'm kidding. It's a joke. While at the same time, I'm not. It's been a long time since I've seen Penn State say that they was going to the conference championship game in the Big Ten. Oregon's a 3.5-point favorite right now. The Duck taking shots. The Heisman Trophy for some weird reason. I don't know why they open their mouth. Talk about that some other time. But, Steven, I went out on a limb here, and I think Oregon remains undefeated. I just don't think Penn State's got the weapons to do it. Who you got?
Jay, somebody's O has got to go. Somebody's O has got to go. And I hate the fact that I'm going with the 1-13 James Franklin against top 5 teams or whatever the stat is. But this ain't Ohio State and this ain't Michigan, baby. And he don't lose. Technically, he don't lose outside of them two. Give me Penn State here to shock the world. Look, there's a reason why the spread is so close. And I also want to mention this. They're over here worried about the Heisman and Ashton JT. Nick Singleton, Oregon, and them have been susceptible against better, higher quality offenses. They've given up a little bit more. Now, they haven't been, perfect, lights out or anything like that. I mean, their secondary has been probably one of the best secondaries, top 5 in the country all year long. We know the weapons they have with Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart. I love Terrence Ferguson at tight end, Dylan Gabriel. The attack is on point. I do think, though, that Penn State will be able to keep up in this game defensively with that group and holding them in that 24 to 23 point area. And look, AK and all these guys, please learn your lesson from the Ohio State game. Get the ball to your playmakers early and often. Tyler Warren is on your football team. Use him. Use him. Use him. Use Nick. These they have the talent to do it, Jay. They just have avoided getting the ball to their playmakers in key spots. But here's the thing. This is psychologically. What pressure is there on Penn State? There's house money. If they lose, so what? They go to the 5 or 6 seed. They're not even supposed to be here. This is because Ohio State and Ryan Day couldn't hold their water against Michigan. Let's be honest.
Give us a rematch. Okay? Deserved. Yeah.
So now you're in this game. What pressure is there on you? Nobody takes you seriously. It's not like there's pressure like there is when you play Ohio State or Michigan in a conference game. Go in there, have fun, let your playmaker let it hang. And that's what I think James Franklin has to be the mentality this week. Whereas Oregon, and I'm also doing this for one more reason, Jay. I predicted before the season nobody would be undefeated after the regular season. And this is my last opportunity.
You did.
This is my last opportunity. So, like I said,
I love that we're selfish. I love that we're selfish about our picks when it comes to this, dog.
That's the real reason.
I'm impressed. That's the real reason. He's selfish. Nobody's going undefeated in my watch. You better hope that it happens. Steven, Ty, and Nino both picked Oregon as well. And hey, man, Dylan Gabriel's having the season. 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's done well. James rushed for over 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns. The thing about the spread, and I agree with you, the spread's a lot lower than I would have anticipated, but it's also in Indianapolis. So it's actually an even travel game for both, for the most part. So they're going in basically in the middle point, and they're playing each other. So that's what makes it a little bit more interesting, but they're playing inside of a dome. And I don't know if Drew Allen is going to outdo Dylan Gabriel in a dome. You just gave that man an advantage. He's been in college football 15 years. He understands how to play outside and how to play inside. And I think that inside, Dylan Gabriel is going to cook in this game. I mean, I like Penn State's defense, but I don't know if their defense is going to be good enough to stop them. So it's going to be fascinating to see. All right, Mortal Locks. Mortal Locks of the week. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all mine, and I'm going to keep it simple. I told y'all I picked this team to win their game. I'm just going to keep riding with them. I think Georgia covers this 2.5-point spread. And I only say that they that's why you hate me. Sko Duck said you hate me.
Sko Duck's going crazy right
He loses his mind. He's mad. I hated Steven anyway. I love it. Thank y'all for pulling up. I'm pulling up, man. No, I picked Georgia to cover this spread. I didn't think this game is going to be close. I actually think that it's going to be a game-winning field goal for whoever wins it, and I think it's going to be roughly in a 2-point range. Like the field goal gets you from a 1-point deficit or something. Somebody's going to miss the extra point, something stupid, or it's going to be a bunch of field goals, and then it ends up being a game winner. I think that's going to be it regardless. If Texas kicks the field goal to win the game, Georgia should still cover this spread. If Georgia does it, they definitely cover. I think Georgia covers. Steven, who's your mortal lock of the week?
I have not picked this team all season. I've waited for this moment, and this moment is now here.
Don't you do it.
Look, the reigning Big 12 champions. And somebody brought up, and I've been waiting. I saw Kevin Finnerty in the chat brought up, well, don't go to Bama. Bama had Nick Saban last year. That same Bama team got walked down by this Texas team by 10 at home in Tuscaloosa, my brother. Give me Texas, who also beat the reigning SEC champ last year. Give me Texas to win another conference, okay? We walking in, we taking over the new guard. We are here. We're here to stay. We're going to win this game just like we just won the recruitment of one Justice Terry. That was just announced, 5-star defensive tackle, who we were waiting to come in. That just came in while we were on air. So we're going to keep the party going. We just won Justice Terry over Georgia. We're about to go to Atlanta, where the players play, and we're about to do the thing. All right. So I love all the banter here in the chat about Nick Saban and all these things. These are no longer factors here. Okay. The new guard is up and is here to stay. Give me Texas all day long. We about to, hey, I didn't go BTA on it. Okay. Out of respect respect to Kirby Smart because I know how he can motivate his guys. But this is round 2, okay? And we will win game 2.
Oh, man, that's a good one. Our mortal locks from the other guys, from Ty and Nino. Oregon -3.5 for Ty. Nino says the Oregon money line. Let's look at all these picks real quick. Oh, man, I got to say, this is going to be
Dutch is on my ass.
He is on you, dog. You disrespected
He said I
him.
expected an apology.
You disrespected him all. Yeah, he had to remind you, man, that you did him dirty, knowing dang well you shouldn't have done him that. Oh, man, that is some great stuff. Well, hey, thank y'all for pulling up to the college football prediction roundtable presented here on the Bleacher Report app. Told you I was going for about 30 minutes. For Steven, Ty, and Nino, I'm Jay. We'll see you all after they select the college football playoff brackets. Talk to you soon.
Can't wait.